Actually, you people will get the mail first before us. So don't worry. So one thing I want to make it clear is whatever most of the time software engineering, whenever I'm giving the assignment, I will try to cover all the questions which are there in the question bank to your this thing. Okay, so you need not have to get so much worried about it. But still, let me check once your question bank. Okay. Mm, you want me to share it? One second. So from your question bank, what you have is testing. Okay, all the types of testing what you have here, that is there. Fine. Then you have design principles. See, maybe some of the questions are repeated. I agree. Because the way in which the questions are asked in your final examination and the way earlier it was asked, it may be a little vary. But yes, somewhat it is almost covers the same thing. Okay. Let's take for uses model driven engineering. I think there are two or more questions. Okay, some they may ask what is model driven engineering, explain. Sometimes they may ask what is the pros and cons. Say similarly with RAPA. Okay, then you have reuse and design patterns. See the design patterns, there are two questions. Okay, what are the four elements here, and there is another pattern, observer pattern, almost similar it will be. Okay, that because the observer pattern is the only thing which is covered in your textbook, you would be writing somewhat the same thing. So please try to understand the question and prepare. Fine. Then you have this, and then you have this one, module 3 also, system models. Basically it is model driven architecture with basically sequence diagrams, use case diagrams, all of that. Okay, so this is what you will be having from your question bank. Please don't ask me questions and put individual WhatsApp messages. I'm telling you in the class. This module 3 system models will be there. Then you have design principles, which is also module 3 only, which is very big. And within module 4, you have test driven development complete. Okay, did you get it? Any doubts in that, guys? Okay, madam, I will, excuse me, I will mail it to your class group. Okay, just send me a class group ID. Yes, guys, what is your class group ID? Don't know. CR is not there in the class. At least check your mail, no? From which group are you getting the email ID? Is it CSC 3A 19 batch Google Groups? Is it that, guys? Or CSC 2? Okay, Madam Janvi, then please refer. Tell me your group ID, only then I will send. Okay, CSC 2. Okay. So that is B section group and this is A section group. Fine. CSC 2020-23. Yeah? Okay. Sent, guys. Please check if you've got. So let's continue with our topic. The next topic is test driven development. A very important question from your examination point of view also. It is approach of program development wherein you interleave testing and code development. It means that you do both coding and testing almost together. So how does this work? Tests are written before code and passing the test is critical driver for development. Now here testing is done first, or testing writing test cases is done before, before the development of the coding, and then we check whether the test whether the program passes the test case. Now you might ask me, ma'am, before coding only how can I do testing? Isn't it? Agreed. Ma'am, how will I do testing before coding? See, the first time when you come up with test driven development, naturally the test cases will fail because you have not yet developed or the come up with the product. So, what we do is here we develop product in iterations, and in each iteration, a very simple function or a small functionality related to the product is developed. So, first time you test, it is not developed, the test fails. Then you develop the code incrementally. That is what we say. Develop code incrementally. So we develop the code. Now, ma'am, if the testing development only takes 1 month, you don't happen to do such kind of development in test driven development. You try to develop code which is very small. Small snippets of code functionality is first developed, so that within a day or within 2 days you develop it and immediately you test it. Okay, so what is the use of this is you don't move to the next increment until the code that you have developed passes its test. So see, there are 10 functionalities to be developed. You have written the 10 test cases. First test case you will write, it fails. You develop it, you test it, and then develop the next increment or the next feature. So, until and unless you have tested it and it has passed, you do not proceed with the next iteration or the next, what can I say, next feature development. So, here, this what they do is this is known as this kind of programming is known as extreme programming. Okay, and this type is developed used in something known as agile methodology. Fine. There is a new methodology of software development known as agile methodology, and that methodology implements or uses this test driven development. Reason being is it is called extreme programming is the code is developed very fast, and the testing happens immediately, and until you have tested and you have passed, the functionality is passed, you will not go to the next iteration of the development. So this is the idea behind test driven development. So the test driven development is given by this figure. Here the function is first function what we do here is identify the new functionality. Okay, here first thing what we are doing is we are identifying the functionality. Now rather than developing this functionality, what we do is we write the test first for that. Sorry, we write the test case for that functionality first. We run the test case. Now naturally, if it is not implemented, will it pass? Yes, guys. Are you able to understand what I'm trying to tell? I'm trying to run my test when it is not written. It is like telling correct my assignment when you have not written your assignments itself. Correct, right? So what they do is we write the test, run the test. Obviously, it will fail. When it will fail, we will either implement the functionality or refactor the functionality. If it is not implemented itself, I will implement it first time and then go to running that test again, because first time it failed, right? I developed that functionality here, then after developing I'll run that test. Maybe what I have written is wrong, again it will fail, so the second time I will refactor what I had written earlier. Did you get it? So I will refactor the next time. First time I am implementing. Second time again when there is an error, I will refactor. So again I will run the test. Until and unless this test is passed, I will not implement a new functionality. Did you understand? So I will run the test. Maybe the third or the fourth time, the test will pass. When it passes, I will identify the next functionality, write test cases, and implement it. This continues until all the features have been developed. Did you get it? I want you to read, I just want you to go through this diagram. This question is a very important question from the perspective of your exam. Clear? Or you want me to explain again? Okay. So this is how trust-driven development works. You develop a new function, you identify a functionality, write the test case first. What is the advantage of this, ma'am? Now, the advantage of this is whenever you implement something or you write a code or implement a functionality, it is always tested. What happens if this is not followed is maybe when you write a test case later, you would have forgotten to write a test case for some feature. Right? If you have developed 10 features and the end of, you might say, ma'am, why every time you check? You develop all the features and at last we will do the testing. Yes, at the last you will do, but what happens if you forget testing one or two features? Right? In those cases, it will be a problem. So in order to avoid it, what we do is So in those cases, what we do is we will say that every time I write a functionality, I will test it. So I cannot proceed until I have tested the first one. But yes, it has a disadvantage. Suppose you're trying to develop on the first thing only, it is taking so much time. The new functionality will not be developed until this is passed. So it has both advantages and disadvantages. Okay. So these are the activities what we have, what I explained. You can go through it once. So what is the benefits of this test driven development? First thing I've told, every code segment is tested at least once. Okay. So you cannot miss any of the code testing here. Regression testing. Regression test suite is developed incrementally as program is developed. What do I mean by regression testing is, see, once I developed n feature, I write a test case for it. I develop the next feature, n plus 1. I will not, for that feature, I will not test only the feature n plus 1. I will test in feature also. Why do you think I will do the previous testing also? It means that when I, let's say there are 5 features in my product. I've tested those 5 features, it is working correctly. Then I come up with a sixth feature. Now, will I test only my sixth feature or will I test my 1 to 5 and as well as 6? First, try to understand my question. There are 5 features within my product. Okay, I will test those 5 features. It is released, it is working properly. Then I give another feature to my product. It is the sixth feature. Will I test only the sixth feature after it is being developed, or will I test all this complete 5 features plus 6? Waste of time, no, Kavya. 1 to 6 and again 6. 1 to 5 and again 6. Only 6 is enough. Yes. What do others say? Others don't have any opinion, huh? Okay, you want me to call someone? Bhanupriya, Rakshit, Chetana, Chirantan, Chitra, Fabian. See, like what Kavya says, we have to test previous things also as well as sixth one. Reason being is, yes, if I test only sixth one and it is correct, it is enough, no, ma'am. If you tell me that, let's say while implementing the sixth feature, we made some changes which may affect the previous things also. Will you tell the customer the sixth feature is working, the remaining, if it is not working, also it is fine? No, right? The remaining also should work properly. So that's why we do a certain kind of testing known as regression testing. In regression testing, what it will do is all the previous test cases are also tested. Along with that, The new features will also be tested. In the same thing will happen in test driven development. When you develop a new functionality, you will test the new test case. Along with that, the previous test cases which have been already developed and tested will also be tested. Okay. So that becomes easy when we are doing this test driven development. Simplified debugging. It means that when a test fails, it should be obvious where the problem lies. The newly written code needs to be checked and modified. So here, if a test case fails and if I want to update it, or if I want to modify it, or what am I supposed to say, fix it, the task of fixing the error becomes very easy. Why easy? We know which code changed. Let's say, for example, I am doing, rather than this approach, I will develop all the 6 features and test it later. See, what happens is the error may be in first feature or 10th feature. You have to check everywhere, which may take time. But here, when we are doing test driven development, you know which are the places where you did the coding and which you might go wrong. So debugging or fixing that error becomes easier in test driven development. System documentation, yes, the documentation, writing the coding, everything becomes easy in this case. So any doubts in this slide? Okay. So this is what I told you about regression testing. Regression testing is testing the system to check that changes have no broken previously working code. That is, if you're testing the current code and if it is working fine, you should also check whether the previous codes are also working properly. Okay, that is done by regression testing. Regression testing is expensive. I mean, ma'am, if I am doing developing a product with 20 or 100 features, during my 100th feature testing, do you want to test all the 99 features also? Imagine how much time it takes, ma'am. Yes, it is expensive, it is time consuming. In order to solve that disadvantage, we have something known as automated testing. So, most of the time, regression testing is done based on automated testing. Here, it reruns all the sake. See, mm, let's say there is feature 1 from feature 2. I will go on dot till feature 100 is developed. Okay, for each of these features I have test case 1, test case 2. Okay, dot, and I have the last test case, that is 100. Now, when I'm testing this feature F100, I will test all of this T1, T2 till T100 to check whether the previous things are working fine. Ma'am, but this will require so much time to test. See, what happens is you can, I mean, if you have so much curiosity, you can go through some testing tools and see. What we will do is, first time when I'm testing test feature 1 with T1, I will record it using automated testing. So once I have recorded it, when I'm testing feature 2 with test 2, I will test 2, feature 2 with T2, then I will, whatever I had recorded T1, I will run that also. So this automated testing will make it very easier. That is, it will rerun whatever I had done earlier. So when I'm testing T100, I will rerun what and all I had tested using T1, T2 till T99. So you will, so if you're using automated testing, we are just running the recording or doing the automated testing for the previous cases. We need not have to make changes or do it manually. But if you're doing this regression testing manually, it is very time consuming, and it we might lead to lot of errors also there while doing testing. So most of the times regression testing is done using automated testing. Okay, did you understand? I just want you to go through it once, and if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Regression testing. So regression testing is 99% of the times follows automated testing. Do you know what automated testing is? Already forgotten? What do you mean by the two types of testing? Manual testing and automated testing. What do you mean by manual automated testing and manual testing? Someone had already answered in the previous classes. Automated testing means we are doing it based using some software like JUnit testing and all. Whereas manual testing, you write the test code, you enter the data, and you do it manually. Shall I proceed? Okay. Next, we have something known as release testing. Release testing is the process of testing a particular release of a system that is intended for use outside of the development team. See, you have done unit testing, you have done component testing, right? Then what do you mean by release testing? See, after the component testing, before the system, a particular you want to test a particular release of a system outside the development environment. See, basically, whenever we are doing a testing outside the development environment, we call it as release testing. The primary goal of this release testing is to check whether the supplier or convince the supplier that the system is good enough for use. So, yeah, I'm sorry, this can also be done within the development environment also. Okay, but most of the times they do it within the business environment or simulated environment where you are actually installing the system. So the release testing has to show that the system delivers every specified functionality, performance, dependability, and all is satisfied by the system. Basically, you will check whether the functional requirements and non-functional requirements are met by the system. So in release testing, basically we check the functionality of the system, whether it is working properly based on the user functionality or the requirements specified. Not only functions, but non-functional requirements like reliability, security, all that is checked. So release testing is usually a black box testing process. I'll later sometime tell you what is white box and what is black box testing. Okay. So release testing is also a type of system testing. A separate team that has not been involved in the system development should be responsible for release testing. Usually, the testing team is involved in the system testing process. System testing by the development team should focus on discovering bugs. Well, the objective of the release testing is to check whether system meets its requirements and good enough for external use. See, basically, the testing done by the development team is to fix the errors. Okay, be the whenever you are developing and the developer is always concerned with checking whatever he has written the code what he has written will fix all the errors. I mean, will work as expected. There are no errors within this code. Whether it will accept the right data, will it give the right output, all that is the mentality or thinking of the developer. But while doing system testing, it does not that is not given importance. The importance of system testing or release testing is to see whether all the features or the requirements given in the requirements document are developed or not. See, it is something like a high level testing. At the overall level, they will check whether the system is doing as expected. What you had promised the customer that the system will do, whether the system is delivering that, that is checked within system testing. So most of the time, it is done by a testing team and not by the development team, because the development team perspective is only different, and the testing team perspective will be different. So whenever a developer tries to do a system testing, it will never work out properly. Fine. So, this system testing, as I said earlier, will not only see functionality testing, will also check non functionality testing. Okay, any doubts in this, guys? So, they give the testing for MHCPMS system, that is the patient healthcare, mental healthcare system. Okay, I think you can go through it. What are the requirement tests, what are the features that needs to be tested, authentication, downloading and uploading the specific patient records, home visit scheduling, encryption and decryption of patient records, record retrieval, modification, link to drug database. All these test cases should be covered. Okay, so I think that you can I'll give you 2 minutes. I'll move through the slides. You can go through it. I don't want to take, sorry, I don't want to explain the same thing. You can just go through each of these slides. I'll give you 2 minutes. Okay. The next type of testing what we have is performance testing. Now, what is this performance testing? Performance testing, it is used to check the performance and the reliability of the system. Now, what does this do testing do is we give a series of data on the system that is being developed, or the load is steadily increased, and we monitor the performance of the system based on the input or the load given. See, we will say something like when the input is less, or when the input is between this and this range, it performs so and so. If it is in the mid range, it performs, we say, right? If the performance of my system is so and so under this requirements, or under these inputs, so that is what this testing does. See, you might give within your requirements, or to the customer, that my system behaves like this for this. See, the speed of my system for 5 network users is so and so. My speed of my system but for hundreds of users is this. If it exceeds 100, the speed is this. So when you have committed for this for a customer, you should also check it. So how do I check? I check using performance testing. So the load of the system is increased, and the performance of the system is monitored during the load increasing. Now, this is also called a type of stress testing, or this kind of increasing is also known as stress testing. So this stress testing is a type of performance testing, but here what we do is we deliberately overload the system with the test, and we account, or we take into account the